when I looked at, and it's not about 45, Jason's boy Trump.
So
Uh,
that's on my paper right now. Go
when
ahead.
I looked at how what it felt like a fair amount of believers, um, how invested we are into America's political system, and how we
Mm,
feel like that reflects Christianity and just the deception, definitely among white evangelicals when it comes to Trump and other things in general. But it made me wonder, like, have people always been this crazy, or is this just something new? Because like my former pastor that I grew up with as a kid, it's just like, were you always like that? And I just did not know, or is this something new? And so, what it began to make me think and worry about is like, have we always been deceived and kind of developed this culture? I mean, we talked about it a bunch of times, and I heard you guys talk about it. Develop this culture where we have a relationship with the church and church culture, or with the culture of Christianity, but not necessarily with Christ. And so that to me, the culture of, and again, maybe this could be blasphemous, but Christianity is separate from Christ. I said this before. Christianity is separate from Christ. Christianity should be inspired by Christ. Christianity should follow Christ, but Christianity can drift away from Christ. And if we have a stronger relationship with the culture of Christianity, we'll drift away with it. And I feel like the church as a whole has like just become a culture versus a culture of just I don't know how to, I keep saying culture, but just a culture of Christianity, and kind of
yeah.
left Christ.
So let me maybe add some different vocabulary so you don't feel as
Come on,
heretical.
Pastor
So
Bob, you always helping me out, bro. Okay, thanks.
uh, what's I believe what's happened, and we become face to face with this during the pandemic, but also during President Trump's presidency, and the evangelical response to political circumstances, but also racial and systemic circumstances. I think we've come face to face with the reality that American evangelicalism and biblical Christianity may not be, probably are not one and the same.
Mm-hmm.
But so much of our experience as Christians are tied up in American evangelicalism. And for many of my white brothers and sisters, my church is part of a denomination that is predominantly white evangelicalism, evangelical fundamentalist, and I stick out like a sore thumb, not only racially but theologically and practically. And as I have conversations, it just bears this truth, that when I look at my Bible and I look at American evangelicalism or Western Christianity, I see some things that I see some glaring inconsistencies, not just with my white brothers and sisters, but with us as well.
Yeah.
And we got to recognize. Now, here's a word you use that I really love, Tech, is culture. We got to recognize how much of this is Bible and how much of this is culture.
Uh,
How much of this is what Jesus told us to do, and how much of this is what we created based on our experience, based on what was handed down to us traditionally, and based on what we think through our Western lenses. And so there are so many people who find who cannot separate their politics from their faith.
Right.
It's like sugar and Kool-Aid when they started putting the mix together. You cannot separate the sugar and the Kool-Aid, because it's all in there together. And it's hard work. It's a painful work to go in and dig out the nuance. And so I think I'm vibing with you. I think what you're saying is, man, a lot of stuff that we do when we call church, might not actually be Bible, and we might and we have to come face to face with it, because guess what millennials and y'all know this, millennials and Gen Z is doing. Millennials and Gen Z are handing you their Bible, the Bible that you gave them for Christmas instead of a PlayStation, and they're saying, all right, now show it to me in the Word. You told me that the Bible is the Word of God, and you're telling me that this has to be what it is. Show this to me in the Word. And because it's the generation of fast information, they can Google it. They handed you the Bible after they went ahead and Googled it. They already know. They just want to know if you know.
Right.
Yeah.